one of the benefits of obsessively doing sculpture is everything you do, in a sense, becomes associated with artwork, with sculpture. For me, doing sculpture for more than 30 years obsessively, this is the way I think, this is the way I celebrate, and this is also the way, in a sense, I express many different ideas that come into the world. Almost like I almost consider my studio a filter of things that happen through my studio, and hopefully they're created in art pieces that are meaningful and can help society in general. When I first found the news that Charlie Kirk was murdered, I was essentially frozen in my studio. I thought this was such an absolute horrific attack on all of us, in a sense, an attack on the idea of freedom of speech. Here it looked like murder and violence has triumphed, and I was enraged in my studio, and I wondered what on earth could I do. It wasn't until I talked to my daughter and I found out that my daughter listened to Charlie for more than a year. I didn't know this, and I thought it was very interesting how it really devastated her, this murder. And I was sitting there talking to my daughter, trying to explain this brutal world we live in, that people are murdered. And actually she told me that he was one of the reasons why she joined the high school debating club. And soon after, in our conversation, we started debating ourselves, and we started to talk about key issues like abortion. She was discussing the fact that she doesn't agree with everything that Charlie actually believed in, and we had absolutely amazing conversation. I thought that's the positive aspect that he had in the world. He encouraged people to have conversations about very tough, very difficult things that are omnipresent within our society today, but very rarely are they talked about in a civil way. And after this conversation with my daughter, I decided I'm a sculptor. What can I do? I decided to actually do a sculpture of Charlie. And oftentimes when I do a sculpture of a saint or a scripture of the Bible, I think, how would that saint want to be represented? Or how would Jesus want to be represented? And I thought first, well, how would Charlie want to be represented? And he would want to be represented with Christ. So I created a portrait of Jesus with Charlie. And the composition, I didn't necessarily know how it would turn out, how it would look. All I knew was it was almost my spiritual duty to actually create something. And for me, it gave me peace, and hopefully that this sculpture will give other people a sense of peace when they see it. It was interesting because at first when I was working on the piece, the face of Jesus was angry. He was like in rage. I had his teeth bared. It was like, how dare you, thou shalt not murder. In fact, I thought of calling the sculpture, Thou Shalt Not Murder. But as I kept working, the hours, the days that I was living this sculpture, it turned to be more a representation of Jesus, in a sense showing compassion and in a sense some sort of peace coming over the whole sculpture. And so I went with it, and I got it to the point where the expression on Charlie, who still looks like he had hope and his eyes are looking forward as if there is a future. And I loved the way it looked, and I just stopped working on it as soon as I got it to a certain point.